To a primetime news follow-up now, the Major Investigation Division and the Criminal Investigation Branch have taken over the investigation into the death of a parish court judge for Trelawney, Ruth Lawrence. This was disclosed today by Deputy Commander for the CIB, Senior Superintendent Derek Champagny. SSP Champagny told our news center that a post-mortem was scheduled for today to determine the cause of death. He said the police will determine their next course of action after the results. And the Jamaican Bar Association is condemning the circulation of sensitive details regarding Judge Lawrence, arguing that it violates her dignity and data protection rights. A police report into the death of Miss Lawrence was widely circulated on social media, revealing her age, residence, husband's name, age, and occupation, as well as how she is believed to have died. In a press release, Jambar called for all relevant authorities to thoroughly review the circumstances surrounding the release of this information. President Tanisha Watkins said while the legal fraternity mourns, it is deeply troubled by the apparent non-observance of the Data Protection Act, which enshrines the right to privacy and the dignity of individuals, even in death.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz, news and entertainment with a buzz. The audio from the video that you just heard is an update as to what is going on with that judge that lost her life controversially. Based on what the boyfriend's spouse is saying, she take care of herself drinking grandma's home. Based on the facts or based on what we see, it seems as if there's some sorts of foul play, meaning that the boyfriend more than likely is a suspect of this lady losing her life. So we see said the major investigative and the top branch of the JCF is now investigating because obviously we see that whoever took that report did not have any too much sense, let's call it that. Because a lot of things that that man told them, the spouse, sounded kind of shaky at best. It sounded as if he was trying to cover up something. And again, you hear what the people them say. They have a problem with reports that went out, the actual police report or the statement that was given by that man, saying everything in details, meaning that the addresses, the name, date of birth, just personal information that maybe should not have gone out there. When this lady was down, persons were pretty much stepping on her head. However, people, we know that we live in an information age, and persons like myself, bloggers, get information that the public never usually get. So therefore, whatever information that we get, we usually run with it. Even though I did not mention her address, everybody knows where she was from and where she lost her life. And then persons just run with other things, meaning that more personal information. So people, at the end of the day, like I said, whoever did that report or took that report, it is obvious that he is not skilled in the art of investigation. It is obvious that he is not skilled in the art of basic common sense. Because once that man started to talk, you should have known that something was wrong. You should have known immediately that that person should have been a suspect, suspect numero uno, or at least a person of interest. However, I am sure that that day, after he gave his statement, he was allowed to go home and then the investigation continued. So therefore, there is some sorts of foul play, and that is good information for the family, friends, and loved one of the good old judge. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is an update about that first form student from Manchester High. His name is Jaden Smith. That has been missing now for a couple of days, and obviously you would know that his family, friends, peers, classmates, principal, dean of discipline at the school, everybody is greatly concerned. Because we know the outcome usually when kids go missing for a couple of days, it usually ends up in the worstest case. However, in this case, it is very, very strange, and I am going to explain a couple of reasons why I say this. So, anyways, the latest update is that they've been searching for him now for the third day, which was yesterday. The police, the residents, the students, any and everybody was looking for him, however, to no avail. But there was a silver lining in the dark cloud, meaning that there was a sighting of Jaden. Now, people, when you think about a child that is missing, you would think that that child would be eager to be found, especially if he's in the arms or hands of some evilous person. But based on what we are hearing, it is said that there was a sighting of him as if he is Bigfoot. However, whenever an alarm was raised and person tried to apprehend him or hold him, it is said that he ran off in some sorts of bushes. So, people, I am going to let you hear from a resident, hear from one of his schoolmates, and also hear from the principal of Manchester High. And then I'll give my piece.
From morning till night, then repeat. It's day 3 of an all-out search for missing first form Manchester High School student Jaden Smith, and still no positive results.
We're passionate about the search for him today because we have heard of sightings of him.
But Principal Jasper Gabriel believes a breakthrough is close by.
Conclusively, based on who I spoke with, Jaden was seen along this Wesley Road area here last night. When they raised the alarm, he started to run. One of my staff workers at school saw him. And she said that she had gotten some help from one of the male persons that was on the road that was going in the other direction. They could have held on to him. But by the time they could have done anything, he disappeared somewhere in the area. We have about 102 students and about 15 members of staff. And as you can see, there's a large contingent of police officers, maybe about 50 or so. I want to tell you the entire school population wanted to come out today, but the protocols that would have to engage the parents would not have allowed us to get everybody. But we believe the more the number of eyes that we can get on the road, the greater the possibilities.
Jaden, come back. We need you. It is important for you to come back. I know that you're probably scared, but we'll comfort you and cause you no harm. It's okay.
Now, people, like I said, the way that this youth got missing, good student, quiet student, usually them say still river runs deep. Usually when some people are depressed, them not say anything until them take it to the furthest extent. And I am not going to say that that is going to be the outcome in this case. But the youth is known to be a good student. However, based on some statements where we hear the parents or people, the residents in the area say, there was some sorts of mix-up in the house, apparently. A little youth from foreign had come to the house where Jaden lives or stays. And there was an accident in which, I guess, Jaden fell back and dropped on the little youth and he got injured and he got a scolding. Not going to say that he got a beating, but there was some sorts of discipline. I guess the mother, our parents probably spoke to him very harshly and him kind of get in him feelings. Don't know if this little youth, fragile, thought that, hold on a minute, this little youth just come from foreign and it's an accident. It's not as if I did it intentionally. And people are talking to me like that. So maybe he felt a little bit jealous. Maybe he felt as if they were taking, preference over the little foreigner, so I'm getting them feelings. And people, this is just my opinion. I cannot say with 100% surety that that was the case. But we know that these little youths nowadays, they are kind of fragile. So when you hear what the principal say, it is a good thing because him say at least 100 persons, including the police, including residents, including teachers, including students, were on the hunt or look out for this little youth. But apparently, this little youth don't want to come home because based on what they said, when the alarm was raised, when somebody saw him, some lady said that she saw him and she tried to hold him and try to get other persons for help. But that youth run off in the bushes. So I say this to say that usually if somebody is in a good circumstance, whether it is a relationship, persons never usually leave a good circumstance. So it tells you that there is some sorts of problem. There is problem in a paradise. Maybe it is because he is fragile. Maybe he was sensitive. Maybe he thought that he was over-disciplined for the incident that took place at the house. And again, I do not know, but me just say. The good thing in all of this is that, obviously, based on what they say, unless that person was blind and did not recognize who he was or he looked like somebody else, and that person ran, people, me not really know. All I know is that something is kind of weird about this whole situation. However, hopefully, people get to the bottom of this. Hopefully he comes back home, or hopefully they find him before it is too late. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, maybe about a couple of years ago, I made a bold prediction that the parish of St. Anne is going to be one of those murder capital, murder central in a Jamaica, and people that is steadily manifesting. Because we've seen over the years 2024, 2025, there's been a whole bunch of takeaway from persons who are outer that come into the parish and commit all sorts of crime. The latest victim is a man, very popular farmer, popular businessman in a lime tree garden. His name is Mr. Ferguson. Mr. Ferguson was home close to his business less than a day or so ago when he was approached by some assailants. Those assailants knew where he lived, kicked off his door, his back door, ran into the house, run him down, and GUN him down. He was conned up a couple of times in the back. The residents heard the noise, heard the pie sounds, summons the police. When the police came, found him pretty much stiff stone cold, just to be taken to be pronounced officially by the doctor at the hospital. Now, people, a couple of years ago, like I said, I predicted that this was going to happen because of the beaches, because of the party, because of the tourists, because of the hustle, because of the weed, because of everything is just prime for crime, especially when other areas are getting hot, as in Montego Bay, Manchester, Mandeville, Kingston. People are now running because I'm here say the whole of the excitement is in Ocherius, St. Anne. However, you know, saying at the middle Ocherius town, it is more expensive. So therefore, persons are going to group up in a little areas like Lime Tree Garden, like Bamboo, like other places like that. So therefore, whenever you have too much people with like mind, criminal intention, linking up in the same place, there's always going to be clashes. There's always going to be problems. Such is the case as it pertains to this man known as Pretty or Jacko, Mr. Ferguson, that lost his life. A very sad state of affairs in Jamaica, and we see that St. Anne's is becoming one of those takeaway places. They need to take away these criminals before it gets from bad to worse, Sarah. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is that we see that the JCF is in the news once again for all the wrong reasons. Controversial takeaway. This time is a place known as Seaton Crescent that is in Westmoreland, that is in a Southtown, where a youth, Desmond Montague, popular footballer, once gang member, once involved in all sorts of mix-up, but according to family members and residents in his area, they said that he had turned over a new leaf and he is no longer involved in anything, none at all, is a saint. However, it seems as if the police acting on intelligence, whether that intelligence or information was wrong or whatever, it seems as if they went there with a warrant of you know what, and it was executed. Executed being the operative word, because based on what persons are saying, this is extrajudicial takeaway by the police. They did not have to take him away. There was no sorts of pie outs. However, he was taken out. Based on what the police said, the police report, they went to the premises to execute that warrant. However, when they got there, the man run to the drawer, the chest of drawer, pull out the drawer and pull out a tool and try to point at them. They took evasive action, you know, the cliche script. After the smoke cleared, Mr. Montague was seen clutching onto his life, clutching onto that tool, or try to clutch that tool. I am going to let a popular TikToker, popular social media personality explain everything in an interview that he did, showing the place, talking to family members, and family members explaining everything. I want you to take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
Jamaica, Desmond Montague, you know which family there? Seaton Crescent, Westmoreland, right in a Southtown. Yeah? Desmond Montague, see it here? Footballer, I feel him too for this. I feel him two for this. I hope you said the police don't war. 3 police came inside the house according to their report. In them report. Let me count in that man house. The police then come to the kitchen. 3 police officers, 2 were downstairs. See kitchen here. And left God. This is the bedroom. This is the bedroom where the incident occurred. Jamaica. No, this is not for likes, you know. It's not for likes, you know. This is not for lights, you know. We have the youth, brother, Desmond, brother, bigger brother downstairs. You know what the man brother tell me, say? Him say, me and my brother, not talk for years. And so 2023, he and him brother make up with tears in the eye. He said, it felt so good to connect back with him little brother. From 2023, and I build a relationship with him brother. And if the police come up here, so look at the bedroom. Now, I want to work with me. Now, I want to know, understand what I'm doing in the country. You know. 3 police officers walk inside here with rifles. And they come inside there, so come. The man, what to do? This is the furniture. This is the furniture that apparently he was reaching for to get a gun. So the person who is videotaping me is right here, so push out the hand, push out the hand. See that? See him and now. It's 1 hand's length apart with 3 police. You're telling me that with this Jamaican band saw 3 police stand up right here, so with gun. And decide if it got in a ear, so if it take out a firearm, if it take out a gun, if it shoot one out the channel, which mad going to do that? I made sure I asked the brother, I said, is your brother of unsound mind? Because him have to be a madman. Him have to be a madman. The 3 police tell up and look by you. The police report said, when they came in the room, they said to him, don't move. And the man stood beside the furniture and proceeded to move to the furniture where he pulled a firearm. Fit pointed at them. Jamaica. So the youth that stand up at the door, see the furniture, yeah. Change out your hand again. See it that me can't touch your hand. Me can't touch your hand. Jamaica. Who don't know the youth never do that? And for what they got reason, we don't come. I'm gonna put the youth right there, so. Right there, so. Right there, so. I'm gonna kill him. Right there, so. Right there, so he's dead. Right there, so. Right there, so he's dead. We don't put the gun on him. 3 gunshot. Bat, bat, bat. You know how in one feel? The nephew and cousin and the uncle and everybody. So the man drag in lifeless body down the stairs, got thrown in a van before even in the come reach. Become the proper investigation with the specials them there. And then some stinking citizens in the country where everything police have on the table, a true, a gunman, the police says, then do the job. Where is Andrew Michael Olness? Where is the security minister, the dirty sleepy? No, the dirty security minister. Commissioner of police, where you there? Because I've pulled it here and that. Where are you? To talk about it, to tell me, no, the family have to go marry this youth, you know. Because when these young men who realize they can't trust you no more, when they are fed up, and as far as me concerned, them fed up, Jamaica. Who will bury the youth now? But if we get the money, because we can't tell them the money. But them have the money. Most of the country don't have the money. Yeah, our people must deal with this kind of burden while owner just cock up in a big vehicle and go home to own a family and eat 3 square meals per day and live on the ground and murder on the brothers and the sisters them for $200,000 when I get up on time. $200,000. $200,000. Jamaicans for justice, the United Nations, the groups that are, they see on the media, CV and TBJ nationwide. You said, oh no, we're now growing and no real investigative journalism. We want to know what if it call out, want to know what if it create protests. Where is the opposition? Where is the opposition? Mr. Mark Bowling, We need to stage a protest out of Hero Circle or wherever across the island. Because these extrajudicial killings, they're unjust, they're evil, and 11 Jamaican youth life is a freaking risk. And it could be mine.
Now, people, what you just saw is the edited version of the post that was made by that man. Hear him sounding very passionate. Did not mention that this man have a criminal history. However, he did say, even if he was a criminal and you came into the house and the man did not pull a tool at you, you had the right to arrest the man. Right to take him in and make the justice system take its course. Find him guilty for the toll in which you claim that he had. However, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if that man indeed did pull a toll at you, if that man was in possession of a tool, you know that dog was going to eat his supper. Based on the present trajectory, based on the present climate in Jamaica, whenever these police go with a warrant, it more than likely is not going to be a warrant of arrest, especially if you have a criminal past. Especially, even if you call out and say you're not do nothing, and people are call up your name wrongfully, your name are call upon crime, your name are call upon pie, your name are call upon people lose them life. Even if you get set up, that is usually going to be the outcome. What I've also realized when it comes to Jamaican, especially the men, the jellyback men, they have no guts, they have no spine, they have no backbone, they have no testicular fortitude, meaning no balls, none at all. Jellyback man, them are gelding when it comes to standing up as men, because they see the police as doing no wrong, even when the wrong is shining in their eyes from a high beam. Them are going to say, make the police do them job until it reaches their doorstep. There's a thing that is called protocol, and what the protocol says is whenever you go on any sort of mission of warrants and you see that person at the front, you apprehend, you make sure you hold that person, you put them in a handcuff. You do not give them a chance to reach for any tool, run for any tool, or even run to put yourself and your squaddies in a harm's way. The same thing happened in a Mr. Ferguson's case in a Cherry Tree Lane. He came to the door, he put him hands in the ear, and then your ear say a shootout. Now when somebody keeps crying wolf, meaning the JCF, saying that, this and that, and then the video evidence shows the polar opposites. How you are going to believe a thief, a liar, a person that is known to be an extrajudicial takeaway person, as in the case of the police that we've seen? Now, I've always said, don't start no ish, won't be no ish. So therefore, if you did not get into criminal intention, if your name was not calling up, and if you didn't have a criminal past, more than likely the police is not going to look for you in the future. More than likely, your future was not going to be grim. More than likely, dog would not eat your supper. But that is not always the case. In this case versus the case in a Cherry Tree Lane, we see Mr. Ferguson in a Cherry Tree Lane, him come out, put him hands on the ear, so therefore there would be no question if there was supposed to be a shootout, because he should have been handcuffed. So therefore, he shouldn't have gotten a chance, even if his intention was to enter into some sort of pie out with the police. So the police would have had themselves to blame for causing this youth to get to it, for reach any sort of toll, for cause any sort of pie out. However, in this case, again, me don't know the circumstance, me never did it, but me just say, don't something sounds weird to you with all of these shooting sounds the same? You hear me say it before, cliche script, and people don't like it. People don't like Jamaicans for Justice. People don't like Stand Up Jamaica. People don't like Indicom. People don't like people like this man because he is talking. Somebody have to have some sorts of balls. Somebody have to have some sort of backbone. Somebody have to have some sort of testicular fortitude because we see that these weak back, jellyback people in Jamaica, them say the police doing nothing wrong, even when it is obvious that they are doing something wrong. People, let me know what you think in the comment section, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.